Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. It's spring and a lot of you guys are getting the C5 or C6 up in the air to do that brake job or oil change. So today let's walk through several methods on how to get the C5 up in the air easily and safely. We'll start out with the very popular and safe ramp method, floor jack method, and lastly we'll walk through the method using your home shop lift. Guys, I'll also be sure to include in the description below a menu of the various types of lifts so that you can jump to exactly what you're looking for. So stay tuned and let's get to work. So guys, starting out with the ramps, there are several good ones you can use. Race ramps are considered by most to be the best. They're around 150. And I made these myself out of wood. And I'll include a card up here in the upper left-hand corner on exactly how to make these if you wish. But the most important thing is that you get ramps that are long enough and the slope is gradual enough that it fits underneath the nose of the Corvette since it's so low to the ground. Get them lined up on both sides of the car. As long as you're steady, it's pretty straightforward. Be sure to leave your vehicle in gear, set your emergency brake, and of course, put a block behind each of the rear tires. It's far from ideal, but if you need to change your oil and oil filter, unless you got a giant beer belly, you can slide under here and get to it. Of course, you can certainly back the Corvette onto the ramps as well. And as you can see, backing up onto the ramps gives you plenty of room to do whatever you need to do under the rear end. Switching gears to the floor jack method for getting the C5 C6 up in the air, we'll need a good quality low profile floor jack. We'll need a piece of wood 2 by 6 by say 10 inches or 12 inches to go between the floor jack and the aluminum cradle front and rear. We've got these two little mini ramps, if you will. They're just 2 by 6s, probably about 2.5, 3 feet long. And they're too high, so it's going to get you an extra 3 inches in the front. I've gone ahead and placed the mini ramps in front of the C5, and let's go ahead and pull this up now. Next step is to slide the floor jack underneath the Corvette and get it centered under the middle of the front part of the cradle. Next, place your 2 by 6 by 10 on top of the floor jack between the lifting plate and the cradle, and then start to jack it up. Make sure that it's centered front to back and side to side on the front part of the aluminum cradle. Go ahead and place your jack stand directly underneath the cradle. It's important to note, I wouldn't put it underneath the A-arm bushing because it was never meant to carry that type of load. The actual weight is carried by the leaf spring. And go ahead and lower the car slowly. And here's what it looks like with the jack pulled away and both jack stands supporting the vehicle from the front. Now that we've got the front off the ground, if your project calls for the whole vehicle to be elevated, we'll go to the back with our jack and our board and we'll slide that underneath the rear subframe. Now we slide the jack underneath the subframe and we've got a problem. Sometimes things don't work out as planned, so you have to improvise. Now that we've got the back end up in the air, the entire car is off the ground, which gives you all kinds of versatility for a number of different repairs. You might be tempted to place a floor jack underneath the front lifting point on the side of the frame. Now this can be done, but look at how much of the rear of the car, when you just lift on that one point up near the front tire, look at how much of the rear of the car that has to hold up as well. Here's a little demonstration to show why I wouldn't do it that way. So the C5 C6 definitely have a pretty rigid chassis, and here's our jack right behind the front tire lifting up the side, but this demonstration is not correct because the chassis, while it is stiff, is not nearly as stiff as this piece of 2x6, which I guess would really be like jacking up a tank. Here's a more appropriate demonstration. Again, the C5 C6 chassis is quite rigid, but it's not built like a tank, so the more times you jack it up in the front corner, over time, if you do this enough, it's going to take its toll and it's going to make it more flimsy. At the end of the day, it's your decision. If you do decide you want to lift your Corvette from the side, I've placed a couple of tape marks on the side of the rocker so you can see the approximate location of the lifting points, which are underneath on the frame rail. I'll go in a little closer so you can see them so you know what they look like. I've already mentioned that I'm not a big fan of lifting from the side of the Corvette, unless of course you have a secret weapon. Okay guys, and finally the last method we're going to use to get the C5 off the ground is by using a 4-post lift. This one happens to be a Maxjax, and we're going to go ahead and get the C5 centered between the two posts from side to side and also from front to back. You'll also notice on each one of the arms there's a hockey puck, and we're going to be utilizing the same exact lifting points on the side of the Corvette that we used with the floor jack method. I found that it makes it a lot easier to get the lifting arms underneath the rockers if you drive up onto a pair of 1x6s in front of the front tires. Okay, as you can see, we've got the lifting arms under the driver's side and under the passenger side. So once you get the car up in the air, you want to take the safety pin and insert it down here, and then we'll go to the other side. We're going to do the same thing over here. And now you're ready to get some work done. Guys, I'll include a link in your upper right hand corner of your screen for a review of the Maxjax in case you want some more information. This has been a fun video to put together, cover the jacking, the ramps, and the 2-post lift. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.